Hi, this is Phyllis with Phyllis Finds, bringing you the mini junk journal that I made using these little boxes that I got at Dollar General. They were little Valentine boxes, and then I also bought Christmas boxes so I can make Christmas ones. But I did take one of them that is a snow-based one, similar to this one, that I used to make a winter little journal with. So, in making these little journals, I took the box out of each of the journal that I've been doing. So I'm going to show you how I made this little journal here, kind of step by step in what I do. So the books, the journal itself, this is the box without the innards. You can see I've got little bits and pieces that go in it. But the book box itself is glued in, and then it has a magnetic little latch here. You don't have to use that anymore. But the box itself, you have to be very careful going underneath the box. And I used my X-Acto knife to do this. And as you can see with this one, there was glue on each end. So I used my X-Acto knife to go across these. And you have to be really careful that you don't cut something you don't want to cut, namely your finger. But, ooh, just pop that one out. Anyway, this is the Cricut one. They pop out easy if you're not paying attention. But going along this edge here, and cutting through the glue that is there. Some were easier than others. And then I did the same along the bottom part, taking that box out. There I get just the cover. I took the cover and then I put ribbon. Now I put a little loop first for the pen that I plan on putting in the journal. See, with this one here, I put the pen was on the inside. This, and I'm putting it on the outside. And it should fit in there. I did it right. Make too much glue in there. See if I can get it in. Maybe not. There we go. Yeah, I got glue on the bottom part there. Okay. But gets the little pen in the holder. So that way, when you're doing it up, you're tying it, the pen isn't being tied in like this one. It doesn't matter which way you do it, but this one here, the pen kind of goes inside. But doing it this way, I made the loop for the pen, and then I made a long enough piece to make the tie. Now I went out probably 8.5. Let's see how many inches this whole thing was. I made it longer than what you would expect. So almost 2 feet. Almost 2 feet, 24 inches. Probably about 18. But that way you've got enough to tie and make your bow. Now, I did these with a blind instead of poking holes through the back end. I did another kind of binding, and I'm going to show you how I did that binding. I also cut the piece that I'm going to put on the inside of the journal that will cover all this glue and what was taken out previously. So it looks kind of nice when you get done. So what I've done here, and I will show you, I have already sewn this piece in. And I use this as a template to see where I need to poke my holes. And I just use one of the old books that I've used for guts that I've taken from a book and made into a junk journal. It makes a great poking book or platform. So with each one of these, with it down, I use these little clips to hold it in place, and you can see where your poke's supposed to go through. And this one here is kind of covered, but you go right on through and into the book below. That way you can see where it's at. Now I have made templates for bigger books and bigger journals, but this is kind of an easy way to do this journal. So once you get that out, you've got your little journal. This is the first part, and then I'm going to put this one on the back side. And I do 3 times the cord. So I measure out 1, 2, 3. That has a little bit extra, but that's fine. Better to have more than not enough. Anyway, you go through the center hole to the back. And what I do is I always have my clips here to hold that string in place. That way it doesn't pull all the way through. From there you go to the top and through the top hole. It hasn't moved around too much. Should go right through. There we are. And that brings the stitch there. And then we're going to go all the way to the bottom. We have this one on this side. So the one that will come up when we come back in, it'll come up on the other side, so you can tie it off. All right, come on. My holes. See where you are there. It's there. Sometimes it takes a little bit to find it. Okay. Gotta pull that tight. And then back through the bottom hole. Now this is where I definitely make sure that you got this tight and you don't have any extra, or it'll be a loosey-goosey, and you don't want that. So now when I come back up, I don't want to come up on the same side as that thread. I want to come up on the opposite side. I can take my clips off at this point, take the needle off, because you don't need that, and then pull taut. Make sure these are taut, because you don't want any gaps in there when you're doing this off. Now, I do a surgeon's knot, and that is 1 loop over, a 2nd loop over, pulling it down. This is what they do when they stitch you up after you've had surgery or had a cut. You can do a single going back the opposite way. That way it's all in there. So now what I want to do is go through and press down my pages. That way all the pages that you've got in the little journal have been pressed down. And I start decorating these up before I put them together. But it has lots of little spaces that people can sign things. Always check to make sure everything was up where it's supposed to be when you're doing this, because the last thing you want is to accidentally put something the wrong way. So now once it's done, you can pull your threads out of the way. You've got this. Now this is going to be glued to the center of here. So what I want to do is glue this in place. And we'll just take some of this Fabri-Tac. Works really good for putting all of this in. And get our bone folder because we're going to need that. Now, I go through and bone folder this into the crease where you're going to have your journal, because you want to make sure that this is all stuck down and you can turn the pages easily. You don't want any bumps or bubbles going through, and you want to make sure that everything is going to be in the journal as it's supposed to be. So there's our thing. See, now this is where it bubbles up. So you got to always make sure you're bone foldering that down into place, because you don't want it to bubble up. And then you let that sit and dry glue-wise. And then once it's dried, then we can glue this in here. And we've got our little journal put together. So this one here will go in. Once again, putting the glue, making sure you got it on there. Getting it all lined up. Now you can, with this in this position, see, because it will pop off if you don't get it glued in place and set. Use your little clips to make sure you're getting it right where it's supposed to. Because if you don't get it in the right spot, it's going to be crooked and you're going to have problems. So I'm going to make sure that I've clipped this down on the corners. Grab another one. Love these clips, by the way. Dollar Tree did a good one with those. Okay, so that has to dry. That's how this one was done. I've also done one, started another one. And the nice thing about these is this one here gave me a Mother's Day spring vibe. Not so much Valentine's, but a Mother's Day vibe. So I'm going to do this in the spring floral, and I've just started pulling papers to do it. Center, and the ribbon is going to be a sheer ribbon this time. So that's all of those. Now I did have all of these envelopes that I made. So they're going to be going in to the little journals. I keep the little ephemera and everything in the box. So this stuff will all go in here. And this one, I'm going to put this wood piece in here up on the front. Thought that was kind of fun because it's red and there is touches of red in there. So that is what I'm going to do with that. The little box works really great to hold all your little bits and pieces as you're doing it. And the jot pans, the mini gel pans, they're really great for picking out things, you know, pen you might want to put. This one here, I could do a blue pen with it, which would be super cute with it. So these are how I made these little miniature journals. I've got a haul video coming up here. Bunch of stuff I got from both Dollar Tree and from Hobby Lobby. Hobby Lobby's got a lot of Valentine stuff. So this in here will have some more embellishments on it. I put some little tabs in. So I'm going to show you this one, and this one when I get them all completed. Had some fun doing them. And once again, I got all the little ephemera pieces that I got to still put into it. But I thought I'd show you exactly how I did this video, or how I did the making of these little journals. And so if you have any questions, any comments, please let me know. Would love to hear from you. Thanks and goodbye.